pretty much since I picked the ball up. Been watching this guy for a minute playing in the league, so just dreaming of me being in those players' steps, not only his but players that he's playing against and with. So yeah, it was just a dream come true for me. Felt really good. After the fact, I was still in game mode when I hit the shot.
Knock down. Great shot.
Lakers make shock decision on Bronny James. LeBron loses it as drama turns personal. It was the storybook ending the entire sports world was waiting for. Father and son sharing the stage, wearing the same legendary purple and gold. But in one stunning, cold-blooded move, the Los Angeles Lakers have just ripped up the fairy tale. The decision they made about Bronny James isn't just a roster move, it's a declaration of war, a brutal business calculation that has left LeBron James reeling and has turned a basketball dream into a vicious personal battleground. This is the inside story of the decision that broke the king and the family feud that's about to explode. The narrative had been written for over a year. It was perfect, the greatest player of a generation finishing his historic career alongside his son on the most storied franchise in basketball. The Lakers would be the architects of this poetic final chapter, granting LeBron James a farewell tour for the ages while securing the future with his promising heir. It was marketing gold. It was legacy cement. It felt inevitable. Bronny James, having overcome immense personal adversity to reach the league, was drafted by the Lakers in the second round to a wave of feel-good headlines and emotional interviews. The first practice photos of father and son in matching jerseys broke the internet. The league scheduled the Lakers for a record number of national TV games. The story was no longer about basketball, it was about destiny. Then the first whispers of friction began. Not loud, not public, but the kind of murmurs that seep out from under closed doors. Basketball people within the organization, it was said, were growing concerned. The fit was awkward. Bronny, a defensive-minded guard still raw offensively, was struggling to find his rhythm in summer league and early preseason scrimmages. The pressure was otherworldly. Every missed shot was a trending topic, every turnover dissected as proof of nepotism. The coaching staff, led by Darvin Ham, faced an impossible task: develop a rookie under the most intense microscope in sports history, while also managing the expectations and presence of his father, the team's best player and the most powerful figure in the building. Practices became tense. LeBron, fiercely protective and a perfectionist by nature, was seen offering constant vocal instruction to his son during drills, instructions that sometimes conflicted with the coach's schemes. It created a silent, uncomfortable divide. Was Bronny a Laker rookie, or was he LeBron's son who happened to be on the Lakers? The lines were blurring, and the foundation of the beautiful story was showing cracks. The breaking point, according to multiple team sources, was a closed-door, high-stakes meeting just before the final preseason game. In the room, owner Jeannie Buss, basketball operations chief Rob Pelinka, coach Darvin Ham, and a few senior advisors. The agenda was brutally simple: the Bronny James project. The basketball staff presented cold, hard data, analytics on his on-off court impact, video clips highlighting defensive miscues and offensive hesitation. Their recommendation, backed by the scouts and development team, was unanimous and shocking. For the good of his long-term development and for the stability of the team's rotation, Bronny James should not be on the active roster to start the season. He should be assigned to the G League, to the South Bay Lakers, where he could play major minutes, make mistakes out of the global spotlight, and develop at a normal, manageable pace. They were arguing that keeping him on the NBA bench, where the pressure would crush him and his minutes would be sporadic at best, would stunt his growth and become a daily, distracting sideshow. They were not giving up on him. They were, in their view, saving him. The decision was made. The fairy tale was being postponed for the good of the business and the good of the player. Now they had to deliver the news to a king who had been promised a throne for two.
Look as though he did not belong. He looked like which I didn't think initially, seeing him out there, that he would look like he belonged in an NBA uniform. I was wrong. He looked like he belonged. It just looked as though he had And be clear, more than any
23 LeBron, is that crazy?
It is. I'm 23.
You're 21.
I'm 23. So
You
yeah,
guys share something in common.
it is.
You were born when he first came into the league.
Yeah, it's wild.
Man,
That's
he's still doing
impressive.
it.
The meeting to inform LeBron James was scheduled for the following morning at the Lakers' practice facility. It was understood by all parties that this would not be a negotiation. It was a briefing. Rob Pelinka, the executive with the strongest personal relationship with LeBron, was tasked with leading the conversation. Jeannie Muss was present, a show of organizational unity and ultimate authority. According to individuals with knowledge of the meeting's aftermath, it lasted less than 15 minutes and ended with the sound of a door slamming so hard it rattled the framed jerseys in the hall. Pelinka, sources say, led with empathy but firmness. He framed the decision as one made with Bronny's best interests at heart. He talked about the corrosive pressure of the Lakers' spotlight, the opportunity for Bronny to be a star in the G League and build confidence, the organizational commitment to his long-term future as a Laker. He emphasized that this was a developmental step, not a demotion. LeBron listened, his expression imperceptible. When Pelinka finished, there was a long, heavy silence. Then LeBron spoke. His voice was reportedly low, controlled, but vibrating with a fury that those in the room described as terrifying. He did not shout. He dismantled. He questioned the evaluation. He pointed to specific plays where Bronny, in his view, had excelled. He accused the front office of bowing to media narratives and lacking the fortitude to weather the early storm of a unique situation. He stated that the promise of this partnership, the unspoken guarantee of their family legacy playing out together in Los Angeles, was being broken. This was the deal, he is reported to have said, his words final and cold. This was the understanding. He then stood, looked at Jeannie Buss, and delivered a line that would echo through the franchise's corridors for weeks. "You don't send a part of my family to the minor leagues." With that, he turned and left, the door slam serving as the exclamation point. The fallout was immediate and internal. LeBron did not speak to reporters that day. He went through practice in a cold, silent fury, interacting with no one, not even his son. The players and coaches worked in a state of shell-shocked anxiety. The news of the decision and the violent reaction to it leaked to the media within hours, but in a fractured, contradictory manner. Some reports stated LeBron was fuming and considering his future. Others, likely from the Lakers camp, framed it as a routine developmental assignment and expressed surprise at the overreaction. But the core truth was out. The Lakers had chosen the hard, unpopular basketball path over the powerful, sentimental one. And in doing so, they had personally wounded LeBron James in a way no playoff loss or criticism ever could. This wasn't about his legacy anymore. This was about his family.
I think he's right. I think Bronny has handled the critics very well. Anytime that you're in the public eye in any capacity, you're going to have critics. This just goes along with the territory. It is not something that anyone is exempt from. You can be in movies, you could be in TV, you could be in sports, you can be in any kind of entertainment. You could, whatever it is that you do, the comment section is going to have its thoughts. And that's the way that it goes. You can't avoid it, and you can't control what people say about you. All you can control.
Gets the ball to Dalton Connect, and they knock it out of bounds, and here we go.
We have now passed the point of no return. The Lakers' decision on Bronny James has permanently redefined LeBron's final chapters, the team's immediate future, and the very nature of their partnership. This is no longer a dispute that can be resolved with an apology or a reversal. Sending Bronny to the NBA roster now would be seen as a surrender, an admission of failure that would cripple the front office's authority forever. Keeping the status quo means operating in a climate of frozen hostility. For LeBron, his legacy in Los Angeles has been brutally bifurcated. There is the on-court legacy, the 2020 championship, the scoring record, the unforgettable performances. That is secure. And now there is the off-court legacy, the broken promise, the familial rift with the franchise, the proof that even his monumental influence has its limits. His final seasons with the Lakers will be played under this dark, personal cloud. Every achievement will be bittersweet, viewed through the lens of this schism. He is no longer building a legacy with the Lakers. He is now adding to his legacy in spite of them. His motivation has mutated from partnership to proof. Proof that he can still dominate. Proof that they made a mistake. Proof that family transcends franchise. For the Lakers organization, the cost of this basketball decision is incalculable. They have traded short-term roster clarity for long-term existential dysfunction. They have proven they are willing to make the hard call, but in doing so, they have shattered the trust required to attract the next generational talent. What superstar, seeing how the Lakers handled the most delicate family situation in sports history, would trust them with their own career or family aspirations? The Lakers are no longer a destination. They are a cautionary tale. They won a battle of wills, but lost the war for their soul. The fairy tale is not just over. It has been replaced by a Shakespearean tragedy of power, family, and the brutal business that lies beneath the glamour of the game. The final buzzer on this drama is years away from sounding, but the score is already settled. In the choice between family and franchise, both sides have lost. So what is the final verdict? Were the Lakers right to prioritize pure basketball development over a powerful, sentimental narrative, even if it meant confronting their superstar? Or did they commit an unforgivable sin, placing organizational pride above personal partnership and fracturing their franchise in the process? Is LeBron's reaction the justified fury of a protective father and a betrayed partner? Or is it an overreach of star power, an attempt to control basketball decisions that should be beyond a player's purview? The lines between family and franchise, between sentiment and strategy, have been blurred into oblivion. This is the new, uncomfortable reality of the modern NBA. Where do you stand? Did the Lakers make the right call? Sound off in the comments below. For the deepest dives into the stories that are reshaping basketball, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We go beyond the headlines to the human drama at the heart of the game.
We scored 118 points, shot 50% from the field. I don't think they didn't stagnate us. They're definitely very good defensively. We got some really good looks.
JJ was just talking about how it can be hard for him to let games go, particularly losses. He's up for hours doing game film afterward. Was that something we can...
Bronny. And a throw for three. Got it. Bronny James.
In the days following the explosive meeting, LeBron James erected a wall of silent, purposeful isolation. He was present, but he was no longer of the team. He arrived at the facility precisely on time for mandatory activities and departed immediately after. He no longer lingered to mentor younger players, lead film sessions, or share his trademark locker room banter. His communication with coaches was stripped down to the bare minimum, acknowledging play calls, confirming assignments. It was a masterclass and professional withdrawal. He gave them nothing. No more outbursts to leak, no divisive quotes, no visible drama. He gave them only his labor, and in doing so, he highlighted the utter barrenness of the relationship. The Lakers had his body on the court, but they had lost his heart, his voice, and his leadership. The team was now a collection of individuals orbiting a cold, silent star. This isolation had a chilling effect on Bronny James himself. The young rookie was now living in an impossible no-man's land. He was a Laker, but not on the Lakers. He was his father's son, but his father was locked in a war with the people who controlled his career path. The G League assignment, intended to be a safe haven for development, became a fishbowl under a microscope. Every South Bay Lakers game was broadcast and dissected not for his progress, but for clues to the drama. Did he look happy? Was he playing with a chip on his shoulder? Were his teammates wary of him? The pressure to perform, to justify his father's fury and validate the Lakers' mistake, was arguably greater than anything he would have faced on the NBA bench. The decision meant to shield him had instead placed him squarely at the center of the storm, isolated from his father's daily guidance and bearing the weight of a conflict he did not create. The familial dream had curdled into a shared burden. Meanwhile, the broader NBA ecosystem began to react to the tectonic shift. Rival executives, smelling blood in the water and sensing a historic opportunity, started to make discreet, exploratory calls. These weren't trade offers for LeBron, not yet. They were calculated expressions of support and interest, reminders to his camp that there were other franchises that would never treat family with such clinical detachment. The messaging was clear. You don't have to live like this. There are places where legacy is understood differently. This external pressure further destabilized the Lakers' position. They were no longer just managing an angry superstar. They were now fighting a perception battle across the league, trying to convince other owners and agents that their action was purely basketball, while everyone could see the deeply personal crater it had left. The Lakers had hoped to assert organizational control. Instead, they had demonstrated a shocking lack of control over the most important narratives surrounding their franchise, inviting the entire league to witness their vulnerability and consider poaching the disillusioned king.
I think it's just about reps. He's getting an opportunity to have game reps and go out and play and live through his mistakes, and also just get back into him just playing ball, which he did a lot in high school. And I think every moment he gets out there, he's just getting more and more comfortable with the pro game. The physicality of it, the nuances of it, the speed of it.
He's wearing a new patch now. You can see it has number 23 on it, and that'll signify his 23rd season in the NBA.
The decision on Bronny acted like a seismic event, and the aftershocks began crumbling the foundations of the Lakers' season before it even officially began. The most immediate casualty was team chemistry. The locker room, a fragile ecosystem at the best of times, was now divided along invisible, stressful lines. Veterans felt caught in the crossfire between management and their leader. Younger players watched in anxiety, uncertain of their own standing in an organization willing to make such a brutally public decision about the boss's son. Trust in the front office eroded. If they could do this to LeBron's family, what wouldn't they do? Practices lost their flow. The joyful, collaborative energy of a father-son story was replaced by a tense, walking on eggshells atmosphere. Coach Darvin Ham's authority, already under scrutiny, was critically weakened. How could he command the respect of a roster when the most powerful player in the building was in open, cold war with the executives who employed him? Financially and strategically, the Lakers had also backed themselves into a corner. The massive spotlight and ticket sales boost that the LeBron-Bronny story promised was now replaced by a cloud of drama and negativity. Sponsors grew nervous. The feel-good narrative they'd sold was now a family feud headline. Furthermore, by assigning Bronny to the G League, they had essentially paused his trade value. Other teams saw a player now shrouded in high-stakes drama, a potential locker room grenade whose acquisition would be less about basketball and more about navigating a diplomatic crisis with LeBron James. The Lakers' most unique asset, the historic father-son duo, was now a toxic, frozen asset. Most critically, the move fundamentally altered LeBron's relationship with the city and the franchise. The faithful fans who had cheered his arrival and his championship now saw a wounded, angry king. His connection to the Lakers had always been multifaceted: a basketball challenge, a business venture, a legacy play. The emotional, familial heart of that connection had just been severed. He was no longer playing for the Lakers in the same way. He was now playing in spite of them. Every drive to the basket, every assist, every defensive stand would now be filtered through this new, bitter lens. The love affair was over. What remained was a transactional relationship, poisoned by a deep personal grievance. The season hadn't started, but the Lakers had already lost something far more valuable than games. They had lost the soul of their partnership with the man who was supposed to be the cornerstone of their present and the bridge to their future.
Oh, wow. I just want to start off, first of all, by thanking my beautiful and amazing wife, Savannah. If any of y'all know her, I know there's a few people in here that know her. Y'all know she don't ever do shit like this, ever. And the fact that I'm loving it, that y'all get this.
I think frustration with the officiating played any role in kind of the rhythm of the game from your group?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
We have now passed the point of no return. The Lakers' decision on Bronny James has permanently redefined LeBron's final chapters, the team's immediate future, and the very nature of their partnership. This is no longer a dispute that can be resolved with an apology or a reversal. Sending Bronny to the NBA roster now would be seen as a surrender, an admission of failure that would cripple the front office's authority forever. Keeping the status quo means operating in a climate of frozen hostility. For LeBron, his legacy in Los Angeles has been brutally bifurcated. There is the on-court legacy, the 2020 championship, the scoring record, the unforgettable performances. That is secure. And now there is the off-court legacy, the broken promise, the familial rift with the franchise, the proof that even his monumental influence has its limits. His final seasons with the Lakers will be played under this dark, personal cloud. Every achievement will be bittersweet, viewed through the lens of this schism. He is no longer building a legacy with the Lakers. He is now adding to his legacy in spite of them. His motivation has mutated from partnership to proof. Proof that he can still dominate. Proof that they made a mistake. Proof that family transcends franchise. For the Lakers organization, the cost of this basketball decision is incalculable. They have traded short-term roster clarity for long-term existential dysfunction. They have proven they are willing to make the hard call, but in doing so, they have shattered the trust required to attract the next generational talent. What superstar, seeing how the Lakers handled the most delicate family situation in sports history, would trust them with their own career or family aspirations? The Lakers are no longer a destination. They are a cautionary tale. They won a battle of wills, but lost the war for their soul. The fairy tale is not just over. It has been replaced by a Shakespearean tragedy of power, family, and the brutal business that lies beneath the glamour of the game. The final buzzer on this drama is years away from sounding, but the score is already settled. In the choice between family and franchise, both sides have lost. So what is the final verdict? Were the Lakers right to prioritize pure basketball development over a powerful, sentimental narrative, even if it meant confronting their superstar? Or did they commit an unforgivable sin, placing organizational pride above personal partnership and fracturing their franchise in the process? Is LeBron's reaction the justified fury of a protective father and a betrayed partner? Or is it an overreach of star power, an attempt to control basketball decisions that should be beyond a player's purview? The lines between family and franchise, between sentiment and strategy, have been blurred into oblivion. This is the new, uncomfortable reality of the modern NBA. Where do you stand? Did the Lakers make the right call? Sound off in the comments below. For the deepest dives into the stories that are reshaping basketball, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We go beyond the headlines to the human drama at the heart of the game.